Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So, a lot of times in our lives, we feel stuck. We feel that our life is going nowhere. We are like stuck in a never ending loop and we don't know how to get out of it. So, the first thing you need to understand is that you have to stop seeing that feeling of stuckness as a problem. Because the more you fight with it, the more it will persist. The more you will resist it, it will become more and more stronger. Because when you are seeing it as a problem, you are villainizing that stuckness. And you are also not accepting what is. The truth is that in this moment, you are feeling stuck. So accept the isness of this life. The problem is that we have been so heavily conditioned with the idea of being productive all the time. The moment we feel the opposite frequency, we start judging that. We always measure our self-worth on the basis of how productive we are. We never realize that productivity does not equal to fulfillment. It is actually the opposite. Productivity means how much did you produce. Robots can be measured by their productivity. Something mechanical can be measured through that, but not something that has a soul. So if you have a soul, if you have a heart, why not seek fulfillment instead of productivity? And the major judgment towards this feeling of stuckness is because you are not being productive. Your life is exactly the same every day, and now you start seeing with the lens of something is wrong with me. Not just with you, but with your entire life. And that starts overflowing to all other aspects of your life. That everything in your life is wrong. That you are doing something wrong. That is why you are stuck. And you are feeling bad about yourself. So acknowledge that it is there. Feel what is, accept what is. Everything that you villainize, you are fighting that thing. You are not accepting it. You are trying to escape it. And a lot of times when we are feeling stuck, certain parts of ourselves, they are screaming for your help. They want to be whole with you. Maybe you abandoned a part of yourself when you were forced to be productive, when you were a teenager, when you were a child. You were forced to be an overachiever, the golden child, and that made you abandon yourself. So you can only see from this perception when you slow down and accept what is. Accept that feeling of stuckness. And acceptance is the first step. You can't outgrow what you don't accept. You can't heal what you don't accept. And the thing is that when we are living a life that has no alignment with who we really are, we become really good at escaping ourselves. It's like we have no time to look within ourselves. So when suddenly your productive life, the life where you are always on the go, it completely breaks apart. Now you have to face yourself. There is no other choice. Then your ego would want to go back to that life again, because there you had the comfort. You were not supposed to face yourself. You were always running. You were not slowing down. So the ego hates that. The ego hates being vulnerable. And if you have to accept anything, if you have to acknowledge whatever you are feeling, you have to be vulnerable. So when you stop treating being stuck as a problem, and that can only happen when you don't see your vulnerability as something wrong. And even though when it doesn't make sense to your ego that all your productive life, where you were doing something that was not at all in alignment with who you really were, but still you were doing something, it is unable to accept that now it is not there. But there is a reason to it, and the reason is that you are being guided by your higher self, by the universe, on a path of healing. When a person is always on the go, they're always being productive, they never even realize that how wounded they truly are. The greatest form of escape is being a workaholic. It is the most normalized coping mechanism. It is the highest of the high because it has been so normalized. In fact, it is glorified. The more you work, the better you are. You are such an amazing person. You are such a successful person if you work all the time. You take your work seriously. But the irony is, the more you project an image of being successful in front of the society, the more empty you feel from within. Because your soul is not being fed. Your vulnerable self is completely feeling disconnected from you. All the aspects of you that you have abandoned, they are literally crying. And you are coping with it. You are not listening to it. You are not listening to their calling. And those parts of you come out in form of emotions. When you feel stuck, when you feel low. And this is the weird way the universe works. It makes you feel low so that you can feel high. It makes you feel the opposite of something that you want to feel. So logically, it won't make sense to you. That how can I feel good by completely accepting my stuckness, by completely feeling something which is negative. These labels, negative and positive, they are the real cause of our suffering. I'm not saying that you have to feel sad all the time, but why do you run away from it? If sadness comes, see it, accept it, acknowledge it. It will teach you something, then it will go away. When some positive experience comes, see it, experience it, live it, then let it go. The problem is that we only want to see the positive spectrum. The moment something negative comes up, we start seeing it as a problem. Now we instantly want to turn towards the positive side, and that itself enhances and strengthens the negative side because you are suppressing it. So accept your vulnerable self. There is a reason that this is happening. There is a reason that you are forced to slow down in your reality. There is a reason that you are no longer a productive person because you are a different person now. The universe is trying to change the lens through which you see this world. Maybe it's not about being under the pressure all the time. Maybe you can have a better life where you don't have to live because of the deadlines, where your life is not driven by an authority. Maybe you can be your own guide, your own leader. So maybe it's time to unlearn all this conditioning. And that's why the universe has put you in this spot so that you can heal yourself. But the more you judge this phase of life, if you're feeling stuck, you will never be able to outgrow your older reality. So you can say that when you feel stuck, it is like an in-between phase. You're out of your older reality, and now the universe has given you like a break to process it all, to deal with it, so that you don't escape from it. But our ego is so stubborn that it doesn't want the break. It's like, okay, I'm ready for the next round. What's next for me? What's next for me? I don't want to be in this phase anymore. I just want to get out of it. But the reason that you are there is so that you can accept yourself, you can heal yourself, you can feel yourself. And that's how you outgrow. This is the first step, acceptance. If you can't accept and acknowledge where you are right now, you can't be where you want to be in the future. So your future self will thank you if you become vulnerable and acknowledge what you're going through. If you go into this feeling of stuckness, you will see so many parts of you that have been buried in your unconscious. They have become your shadow. So don't be afraid of feeling your vulnerable self and accepting it. That is the only way that leads to true healing. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can like, comment, share. You can also support my work by hitting the thanks button. And please make sure to subscribe. Much love to you all.